welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on this video. In this video, I just want to rant you guys because if you watched the same thing that I watched last night, you're shocked, you're confused, you might be a little bit sad, wondering what happened. I'm talking about the Mike Tyson fight with Roy Jones Jr. and a YouTube star being one of the opening fights. So yeah, let's just get into this because I thought this was like groundbreaking. This was history being made in front of my eyes. I was confused, I was lost, and some people lost as well. Like, they didn't feel lost, but they actually lost the fight. I thought it would be fun to watch him fight, react to it a little bit, give you guys my thoughts while I was watching all that. I'm shocked, I'm stunned, but I am mostly sad and disappointed about that draw for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I can't even, that's a rant on its own, you guys. I'm just gonna start out with their ages, height, all of that. I'm gonna look off to the distance because that's where I have it all written down. Jake Paul, he's 23 and Nate is 36. So right there, I feel like Jake already has an up on him because Nate is 13 years older than him, which, I mean, 36, you still have a lot of energy, but 23, the things Jake has already been doing, and now this, and getting into a ring with someone who's 13 years older than him and doesn't have that much energy, that's just not fair. Jake is 6'1" and Nate is 5'9", if I'm correct. Yeah, he's 5'9", so right there, he has a couple inches on him, but also I don't know how it works with boxing and height. Because when I was watching the Gonzalez and Vasquez fight, I was like, okay, I was rooting for Gonzalez for a little bit because he was scrawny, he was tall, but he knew how to use them legs and duck from them punches. So I was rooting for him. He didn't win, but he was tall. And so that gave me hope. Like I'm saying, Jake's a little bit taller, but he is definitely bigger than Gonzalez was. But I don't know how height plays a factor into boxing, if that could slow you down being taller than your opponent, if being shorter than your opponent could help out in certain ways, I don't know. Jake Paul weighed in at 189 and Nate weighed in at 181, so again, Jake had a upper hand on him there, 8 pounds heavier than him, and Jake had a 76-inch reach and Nate had a 70-inch reach. So all around, I feel like Jake just had the upper hand in this entire fight. And not to even mention, he's been training for years now, and I don't think Nate has been training. I think Nate just got into the boxing ring. I think he probably trained for this fight, but he has not been training as long as Jake has been training, if you know what I mean. I don't support Jake Paul, like, at all. I mean, I don't support him like he supports Trump, if you know what I mean. But I'm gonna give it to him for this fight. I will give it to him. And he also dropped a new music video, Park South Freestyle, so I'm definitely gonna be reacting to that after this video. Jake and Nate were in the cruiserweights, and so that is when you're in between the light heavyweight and the heavyweight, which to me, I was like, how are they in between that? Because Badu Jack and Blake McKernan, they were in the light heavyweight, and they, to me, looked so much bigger than Jake and Nate. The one thing that like kills me about this fight with Jake is that it just feels his ego, honestly. Like, going into this, he had a huge ego, and now coming out of this, of course he's gonna have a big ego. And I mean, I'm not gonna knock that, I would too. In the second round, are you kidding me? I think he was shooting for the first round, so he could be a little disappointed in himself in that way, but he still did the KO. In the beginning of this fight, oh man, it was hard to watch, I'm gonna be honest. It looked like some MMA fighting going on, not boxing. And I kind of felt like Jake looked tired. Even though they only made it to 2 rounds, they didn't even finish the second round. I feel like Jake looked a little bit tired, but I think that a huge factor of that could have been because of Nate's fighting style. Like I said, it looked like they were, like it was just MMA. He had all offense, like Snoop said, no defense. And I just wondered, like I tried to Google, I couldn't figure it out, but I was wondering like who was training Nate for this fight, because it just wasn't it. It's sad to say because I was rooting for the man. Like I said, I didn't want to see Jake Paul's ego being fueled, so I was rooting for Nate, but that just was not the fight. And it was so sad because while the fight was going on, they were like, Nate's doing this for his family, for like the NBA people, and I was like, oh. I was honestly really impressed with Jake though, watching him, but it's just kind of hard to say because like I mentioned, I don't know how long Nate has trained for this fight. I'm sure he's only trained for this fight only, which Jake has trained for more fights. So I feel like he just has the upper hand in everything with this fight. And his other fight that he won, because Jake is 2-0 now with 2 KOs. How does this happen in my lifetime? He fought Ali Gibb, if I'm correct. He's a YouTuber, I'm pretty sure. I looked up his channel. His channel name is On Isan Gibb, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, hopefully. But they fought, and from what I read, Jake knocked him out like 3 times, which is the same amount of times that he put Nate on his butt too. And I'm like, how is this possible? I don't know what's happening in this lifetime that I'm living. It's like, it's 2020. Actually, it makes sense. Like, it's 2020. Anything is bound to happen. Maybe it would make more sense though if Nate actually won, being that Jake had already won with a knockout. Oh my gosh. And so what I was saying is like, I just don't know how much Jake can do, because the first fight with his first knockout was against a YouTuber. And I don't know how much that guy was boxing, but when I looked at his channel, it seems like that's all he's doing now, and he's gonna be fighting another YouTuber coming up. I have no clue. But the second fight that Jake was in was against a basketball player who had never boxed, I'm pretty sure, in his life. And like I've mentioned multiple times, I don't know how long he trained for this fight. So it's just like, I feel like he keeps getting partnered up with people. You know what? Like, I don't want to be that person. So I go against them and I don't watch them. And it's, I don't know, I'm weird about that stuff. But I feel like that's Jake Paul. But how the heck is Jake Paul becoming a boxer? Like, this is weird. Like I said, Jake did drop a music video, so I'll definitely be reacting to that. Make sure you watch it. I did react to another one of his music videos. I think it was 23. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it. And I was real hard on that because I don't like Jake. I don't support Jake, so I wasn't even trying to like be here for the music, which in the end I was like, well, duh, the only people listening or watching that video of mine would be his fans. It would only make sense. So I'm gonna react to this one, and I'm actually gonna give it a try because it's like, okay, this guy's doing something. Like, he went from Vine to like Nickelodeon or whatever to YouTube to being a boxer. Like, I'll call the man a boxer, okay? To now really trying to make some music. So I'll react to it. I'll give it an honest opinion if I actually like it. But that don't mean I support the man, okay? Period. As far as the Mike Tyson fight goes, I'm mad. Like, I am mad. How are they gonna call that a draw? I know how they're gonna call it a draw because that last judge, Vinny, I don't know his last name, the entire time he kept ruling in favor of Roy Jones Jr. And I mean, I get it. The man stood his ground. But there were literal rounds where it was like, no, Mike took that. Mike had that in the bag. But here comes Vinny with scoring Roy Jones Jr. higher than Mike. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's just so sad. I feel like Mike Tyson has tasted blood now and he doesn't want to stop. Like he said, they have to go again. Roy was like, I'm putting this on my family. I'll let them make that decision. Hopefully they say no. That's what I feel like. But Mike, I think he's tasted some blood and I think he's ready for the next opponent, whether it's Roy Jones Jr. or whoever next. I think he's ready. Like, I was so shook, so amazed watching Mike fight at the age of 54. He was so fast still. And it's crazy because the entire time I kept saying like, wow, like he still has it. But it's like, no, he doesn't still have it. He worked his way back to have it. He hadn't fought in 15 years. Are you kidding me? And he puts out that work and you're gonna call it a draw? Like, Roy fought 2 years ago. No. We giving Mike the dub, okay? We giving Mike the dub. Jake also somehow took home the dub. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant because I definitely enjoyed watching those fights last night. Like I told you guys, I was really rooting for Gonzalez over Vasquez for a moment in the first 2 rounds. And then I started seeing Gonzalez put the work in and I started hearing what the commentators were saying and I was like, oh, Gonzalez is gonna win this. Also, speaking about commentators, can we talk about Snoop? Like, I think Snoop needs to be the commentator for every single sport. Like, if ballet had commentating on it, I would put Snoop into that because he just, you know, made it whole. It was amazing. And to watch him perform real quick while smoking and then go back to the desk to commentate, it was like everything. It's like, hold up, I gotta take a work break to go work some more and get high at that job and then come back to my other job. Like, he really was working 2 jobs. What a legend. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed this little rant of mine because I just needed to get this out, you guys. I was shook that Jake Paul really knocked his ass out, and not only that, but in the second round. They didn't even finish the second round, but I shouldn't be that shook because of the style that Nate had. Like, whoever his trainer was, bad and shame on him because he just trained him offense. There was no defense. He wasn't covering his face. He didn't know how to get out of the hits. He didn't know how to bob and weave out of there. So it was just so frustrating watching that. And you know, maybe let's put LeBron in. Let's put LeBron in with Jake next time. I don't know. Give me someone else. Throw little names down there. What NBA player are you trying to see box Jake next? I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And when you ring that bell, make sure you put that to all notifications and not personalized. I mean, unless you want personalized, that's okay too. But maybe all would be cool. That's cool with me, you know. All my socials are linked down below, so make sure you give them a follow along with petitions and donation sites. That way you can continue your support for the Black Lives Matter movements. And also, I have not uploaded in like over a week, but it is not January 5th yet. We are nowhere close to that, so I still will have links for the Georgia runoff elections. And if you turn 18 before then and you live in Georgia, make sure you register to vote because you can really help us in this. You can really help us in this. I hope you had a good time, whether it's the night, it's the day, whatever time it is. I hope you had a good time, and that is it, you guys. Peace out.
I've seemed to prolong our existence, but I